back. Welcome to my channel. My name is Felicia. We are back with another pick a card reading. We're getting into a realization update. So what are people realizing about you as a fact? The internal process of them becoming aware of something about you as a fact, as a reflection of your heart-centered truth. And check the description box down below to see more about us, learn more about us, and the timestamps are also down below as well. Thank you for being here. Check out Cosmic Intelligence down below and other ways you can give back so that we can keep making this information accessible to all. We do not make a profit at Felicia and Tricks Tarot or at Divas Can Manifest org, so we really appreciate you being here, supporting this nonprofit work, this charity work, and making this information accessible to all. But without further ado, let's get into it. Group 1, you are the wounded child. Group 2, you are the trickster. Group 3, you are the martyr. Okay, choose your selection and I'll see you in your group. Hi Group 1, welcome to your selection. So you chose the wounded child archetype, and this one is awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children, opens the learning path of forgiveness. Okay, I think people are realizing that you are, I don't know what you're doing. You could be talking about your childhood, or you can be talking about something tough or traumatizing that you went through during your childhood. I'm also hearing that this could involve a Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, but I think that what people are realizing is helping them understand their bond with you is very deep and tenacious. And I think that sometimes your perception, I'm not going to say your perception could be clouded or judged or like misjudging, but I think that this is beautiful because I think that it's bringing you out of a period of apathy, because otherwise I think that you will be extremely discontented and bored, because you have been very wounded in a situation and it feels like people have lacked compassion and empathy with you. And this could be because of your pretty or some other privilege that they feel that you have, but a lot of people are not sympathetic with your experience whatsoever, and it's literally because of a pretty punishment and a lot of discord and backlash about your beauty, irregardless of these wounded experiences that these wounding experiences that you may have had. I think that, you know, what people are realizing is that, you know, the more that you it's like something that you do is that inspires a compassion or desire to help others. It makes people realize a deep and tenacious bond that they have with you, and that it's not just like you're not just relating to them in a superficial way or because of your beauty or privilege, and you are connecting with people who have this, you know, similar wounds, similar experiences, shared adversities, and this is definitely ways to form intimacy and definitely ways to build relationships and build bonds. However, I think that there's a situation where some of these relationships are very dysfunctional, and this involves other wounded children. So these discerning officials, they may have formed bonds with you and these other children, and experience intimacy with children, or intimacy through shared adversities. And some adversities you can relate to, but others you cannot. Like, there are other children in this matter that are that have been dysfunctional relationships, and it's not just conflict and disagreement. It's actual crime, it's actual violations, specifically the Second and Fourth Amendment rights, especially for legal minds. So let's get into it. Group one. What are people realizing about you? Okay, what are people realizing about you? Group one, what are people realizing about you? Patience and planning. Okay. So like I was saying before, I think that this matter is involves like people realizing your journey or your path, where you have literally just been so introspective, and maybe you're doing something in the healing work, healing arts, or you're doing something spiritual for work, and this shows like whatever your occupation and what you do for work also shows that you have a lot of compassion and desire to help other wounded children. And this makes people realize that you are the deep and tenacious person because of this like work that you do, that's inspired by, with compassion and desire to help others with their same wounds. Because I really think that you have truly just been lacking empathy and compassion. Like people have really, they've really made a lot of excuses as to why they can't treat you fairly in a matter, why it's okay to punish you for something that you didn't do, why it's okay to criticize you about something where people even, these people are realizing that you can be like, you could have gotten bullied as a child, and they're like people who still like are bullying, like despite you being like this wounded child, they'll still try to like bully you, and that's so strange as well. And it's just like, and these could be other wounded children, right? And like their wounding of other, like you can't say that you love God or that you are compassionate, because you're turning around to hurt another wounded person. Is so weird. I think that these people who are realizing about you, they are very invested in this journey with you, in this path that you've taken to learning about your own wounds. And people are realizing that you are, like, maybe they even see you socializing, and they see like you connecting with other kindred spirits and cognitive connections and like minds, and people who have the same struggles that you have, but there's an opposition. And these people might share struggles, but they have decidedly gone against you because of some difference. Maybe this could even be a matter where they perceive you to have an advantage, or they perceive you to have the upper hand or the favor in a situation. And so that's how they justified wounding you, even when they knew that you were already wounded and struggling. They saw you with some type of advantage or privilege and justify why it was okay to harm you. These might be other children, and I think that this is like the challenge that you could be having, where there are bonds and intimacies and shared adversities, but there's an opposition in this collective of wounded people that who have like created a division where they didn't extend the same compassion and kindness and respect towards your wounds and struggle. Okay, these people were super unfair, and they did not hold themselves responsible because of some kind of perceived privilege or advantage that they thought that you had. Okay, so group one, what are people realizing about you? Oh yeah, this wanted to show itself to me recently. Reconcile differences. What did I say? This is a situation where there are a lot of wounded children here, and somehow you are like, they perceive a difference that have formed an opposition against you, and it's like that's how they justify like violating you or doing something totally like unjust. And I think that, people are realizing that, through this serving that you've done to help people learn about their wounds, have reconciled differences. It shows people that you're not so separate than everyone else, that you don't, whatever difference that they think that whatever difference that they perceive or advantage that they feel like that you've had is totally a misperception, a clouded judgment, or some outmoded belief or negative thought pattern. And even if you do have a privilege or advantage or whatever difference, it does not justify them violating, committing crimes, or doing something else destructive towards you because they're wounded. Projecting their wounds onto another wounded person is strange. And a lot of people, I'm hearing that this division could be around, could be with other wounded children, where they're like, oh, because they're children and wounded, they can't, we won't hold them responsible for their behavior because, but you have a privilege and an advantage, and that seems almost unfair. And what? Like, no. Like, you're not going to kind of like make excuses for violations when you're clearly wounded. There's clearly a challenge that has been accentuated with you, and you have just been the one that has been dedicated to learning about the wound and not making excuses for dysfunction and bad behavior. Like, it seems like you're the group of children, or you're the child, the wounded child that learns about the wounds, that takes responsibility for it, that heals, right? That does the work, and they just come around with a woe, or with a pity, or with this grief and burdensome like projection onto you. So that's the karmic loop, right? We have dragon energy. Sorry, this deck is old. And then we have decisive action. Okay. Dragon energy, and that is power and legacy, and then we have decisive action. Okay. So people are realizing some decision making that you've done recently, and how that has been a newfound, like this decisive action that you've taken recently have been very empowering for you, and they see that that's positive movement and positive growth and progress towards your legacy. They see that you're patiently learning about your wounds, healing, and during this time, while you're learning and building and taking those inspired actions, that you are connecting with other wounded children, and this is showing the tenacity. It is showing that you have been the one that's really deep and tenacious, and that these other wounded children, they just settled for something superficial, to be conventional losers at life, to be failures at life. And you were the one that was open to lifelong learning. You were the one that decided to take decisive actions away from trauma, away from scarcity trauma, away from lack. People are really just like, they're realizing that you have this major legacy and great fortune, because you stayed on the path of learning about your wounds. And this is like, this healing is happening at a cellular level, and this is healing your DNA. It's healing, it's unsticking people, it's solving people's problems. Whatever you're doing that is inspired with compassion and desire to help other wounded children, you are literally setting people free. A lot of you are getting rewards and recognition for your work, for healing work or psychic spiritual work. And the way that you are reconciling differences, it helps people resolve varied emotions that have been creating energetic disturbances and preventing people from getting closure, people from moving on from grief or traumatic experiences. You are literally putting broken people back together again. And I don't think that you know that you have been doing this, but it's created so many deep and tenacious relationships. And if there has been like a karmic loop, a filibuster, a division with, you know, other wounded children that keep projecting their wounds onto you, they have been relying on desperation, sympathy, but we really just see them as conventional losers who just like accepted their lots in life, that didn't stay open to learning, people who were rigid and flexible, people who are worried, burdened with stress and disease, people who are I'm hearing degradation, people who are withering away, declining, reversing in life, people who are going to prison. This opposition are a force of people at the South Node that did not stay open to lifelong learning. And they have been wounded, and I think that we form bonds and intimacy and have compassion for them, but we can't, we can't like make excuses for your lack any longer. We can't keep pretending that you are not coming around with a hidden motivation. You just refuse to learn. You refuse to stay open to learning. They refuse to take decisive actions, and it just shows that they're not as powerful. And I think that like this pathway that you've taken to keep learning, to keep resolving these wounds, especially like some of you, this is your Chiron energy. Some of these experiences have been your deepest wounds that you have healed and recovered. And this means like the deeper the bonds of betrayal, the greater the fortune, the greater the legacy. And that's what people are realizing also. Okay, that's very powerful. And you're just planning and getting prepared, and during this time connecting, what did I say? Yeah, ring. During this time connecting with others, okay? Connecting with others who are wounded, and this is creating a deep bond of intimacy. But there are other wounded children here that are false people. They're not actually fellowshipping with us through these shared adversities, but they're more focused, on creating they're psyoping people and creating division, and this is all a projection of your beauty or some other advantage that they feel that you have, or some difference that they feel that they cannot accept, that's creating like such a big burden. And I think that we have formed a bond with them, but we are learning that those were false. That's fake love, fake false bonds. People who refuse to learn, people who refuse to evolve, people who keep making excuses, keep scapegoating, people who keep violating, keep committing crimes, keep doing something destructive. They're banned. It's a no. So I think that what people are realizing about you, Group 1, is, where their deep and tenacious bond is versus these other people who just came around, trying to elicit sympathy and pity and desperate because they don't want to go to prison. But they're not really evolving. They're not really open to learning. They're not really keep doing the same things over and over again. And they're just not as powerful, I think, as well. Okay, so this is helping us discern where our true bonds and intimacy are, Group 1. Okay, we have the military, and then we have the snake. What did I say? I think people are realizing in this, I think that you're staying patient because people are realizing that the military is here now, okay? The discerning officials are here now. The law enforcement is here in this matter because there's been another wounded child in the environment that's a snake. This person is deceitful, betraying, and destructive, and they're degrading and filled with disease and worry. So they're doing a lot to try to bond now that they see that these discerning officials, or that the law enforcement is here, okay? And we're just discerning this bond. That, what this realization is the discerning of this bond that was formed with the snake in the grass. And I think that people are also realizing that the military or the law enforcement has come to help you fulfill this contract, okay? And you're just planning and patiently learning what you need to learn, okay? So, Group 1, wow. That's what I'm saying. Okay. People are shocked that there was an entire force of people that were bonding over a shared adversity about your privilege or advantage or some difference that they see that they had. That's what people are realizing as well, is that this could have been a group of people that were a snake. Okay. Neil Ash and a lot of them. Okay. Neptune energy, the planet of illusion. What did I say? This bond that was formed with the snake, these were all people, you know, they might have came around and tried to act like they were gang, right? Or they tried to make different changes along the path with us to make it seem like they were learning, growing, and evolving. But this snake is not someone, you know, there's a mystery around that's getting uncovered. And that's what people are realizing as well, that this other wounded child, like in this period, I don't know, through this process, it feels like you've been really using your spirituality for your personal betterment, to help you unblock your solar plexus, to help you take decisive actions, to help you feel more confident and empowered within yourself. And people are definitely realizing that, and that's a dedication and devotion to continue learning about your wounds and to continue healing and to fulfill your legacy, North Node. Okay. But this mystery with this bond, I'm hearing there's a bond with other wounded children. They try to come around and act like they're bonding over the same shared adversities, but there are differences. I'm hearing big differences that have put this person, you know, in a state of angst, grief. They're really in anguish about some difference. Even if you are a wounded child, also, even if you're disadvantaged, also, there's an opposition where it even may be a group of people bonding over a shared adversity relating to a difference that they feel that you have as a privilege or unfair advantage. Okay. And you know, they come around and act like they're fellowshipping, but they're not. They're really snakes. Okay, LOL, yeah, because you divine feminine energy. And they were not, like I said, they were rigid and not evolving. And they may have made like changes along this path, but they were coming around trying to bond, but they were bonding, you know, as a snake, as a fake, right? Because they just wanted to be next to you as divine feminine energy. They just wanted to be marked by your creativity, fertility, and intuition. And they were just like this husky, masculine, buff body or something like that. Like someone who did a lot on social media to create a lot of different illusions and things. Like some of them, they tried to mimic your home a lot. Like they tried to mimic your sanctuary. Maybe they even tried to like copy all your dance combos, and you know, something where they try to do everything. They try to change the way that you change, so that they could act like, so they could appear as if they are bonding over the same things, or that they have the same values that you have in your life, but they're really just trying to get next to your privilege and divine femininity, and they're not actually open to learning the way these other bonds are. And they're not creative. They keep mimicking everything that you do. And I'm also getting that something else that they were doing, these snakes that were like, you know, something where it created a lot of mystery and illusion, like why they were coming around you and why they were talking to you, because some of you guys didn't know these people and they just started doing everything that you started doing, or they started copying everything and you didn't know them, or they just like, they started talking to you and you didn't know them and you're like, what? Like, and it was because like that was the mystery. Their motivation for doing that was mysterious to you, because you're like, I don't know you. And it was because you were divine feminine, or you were this could have been a third party as well that was committing crimes, and they were just like the husky masculine one next to your fertility and creativity and soft steel intuition. I'm also getting that this person used to dance in the dark a lot. And so a lot of people got it, like they may have like found it attractive until they turned the lights on, or they used to do something illusory and then people realized that they were a catfish, or that they were not as attractive as we thought that they were. But they kept changing, or they kept like mimicking your steps in life to make it seem like they were bonding. But this was really like some big violation was happening behind the scenes. Okay, we have water element. And then we have rational behavior. Okay. So I think that the karmic loop is that you are failing to make decisive decisions. I think that the karmic loop, you call the shots. So if you're going around and around in circles, you know, if you keep making the same choices, you'll continue to get the same outcomes. So the best thing that you can do is to employ your rational choice behavior theory in all decisions that you consciously make. Okay, on a daily basis. If you don't know where you're heading in life, if you don't know what you want in life, always, you know, when it's time to make a decision, always make the decision that brings you the highest amount of utility, the highest total satisfaction. Okay, like, oh my god, I don't know if I should go to the gym or if I should go to McDonald's and get some cookies. Well, maybe you can do both, and that will be the highest total satisfaction. Okay, friend? LOL. Let's get a little tarot, and then we will wrap. So I think that, you know, people are realizing that you're making more rational decisions for yourself. And since, like, you know, you're getting more rational, they see that the decisions that you've made and all this learning that you've done have connected you to the right officials. Okay, you've gotten in touch with the law enforcement. And so you're just staying patient and planning for when this is enforced, is what I'm hearing. Okay. But this is also a journey of you playing the wonderful game of life creatively. As divine feminine, you have been creatively making rational decisions, and that's what people love about you also. It's just been a journey of being of creativity and learning, and somehow you ended up with the right officials. You ended up with the law enforcement. You ended up with transportation or something like that. You ended up, you know, with the military that's helping you release this or to complete this contract that you have with the snake, because that means that the contract could be prison, okay, prison sentences, financial unexpected money, your inheritance, or contracts breaking down as well. Okay, certain contracts will be ending. Neil Ash's contract is ending, and contracts at Pink Post Studio are also ending. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing, friends. Let's get the tarot and then we will wrap. Okay, what are people realizing about your group one? Okay, the moon. Yeah, this group of people, the snake, and even the military officials, they've also had to, like, you know, they have to discern, because these other wounded children came around talking about their wounds, like, oh, woe is me, I have sexuality issues, oh, I have body image issues, oh, I'm so sad because I don't have breast, oh, I'm so sad because I have an inverted shaped ass, oh, I'm so sad that I got pop eyes or fucked up teeth, or oh, I'm so sad that I'm not divine feminine energy. Oh, the law enforcement is here. I ain't got nothing to say to you. I ain't got nothing to say to you, honey. Okay? Stop projecting. Yeah, they're just insecure people trying to, you know, get, like, the law enforcement, you know, the law enforcement definitely feels burdened by these people, because these bonds where they shared their intimacy, they shared their wounds, they shared how they were truly feeling. I'm hearing some of you guys, you're not listening to that shit. They trying to put their writing out, or they trying to send you, you know, communication correspondences. They try to send you letters from their heart space. They're trying to get you to sympathize with their traumatic experiences with their wounds, but it's too late. They shouldn't have done that. Okay, I think that these military officials, the law enforcement, definitely feel burdened by their wounds, right? Because it's like, it's really bad what they did, okay, but they're trying to, like, get them to show an emotional weakness, and I think that this is really where they deviate from rational decisions, as well, when they choose emotions over logic, because these people are sharing their wounds, or they're sharing their emotions. You're like, no, there's no listening to no emotions in the court of the law. Okay, ain't no emotions in the court of the law, big body. You gotta go. You attacking somebody because you felt that there was a difference when everyone is here wounded. Like, what? They started attacking you. Like, I'm hearing that you were in a space where there's a group of wounded people, and you're also a part of the wounded group of people, and somehow some type of difference made it okay for you to, like, I don't know, like it made it okay for them to attack you. I'm hearing that this is inevitable, but this is extremely burdensome because they're so, after the truth was, I don't know, after the truth came out about their, their deep burden and their grief and their pain and shame, it had already been so many violations. And what they realized in the end is that you actually shared some of the same body image issues, childhood developmental traumatic experiences, even group trauma, epigenetics. Like, this is crazy that they found a difference within you to justify exploiting you, okay, when you were all there within the same shared adversity, okay? And I think that the period of, these discerning officials, they can't keep showing emotional weakness because a lot of you guys are starting to boycott them. You're starting to protest. Your movement is starting to get a lot of traction, and whatever bond that they felt like they had, intimacy with a snake in the grass, is an ending. It's no more like they're just really insecure about how things ended because the truth came out about their opposition, and how instead of learning about their wound and resolving it, they decided to take that out on you and try to justify why it was okay. Okay, that's what I'm seeing, group 1. Let me know how that resonates, and I'll see you in the next one. Hi, group 2. Welcome to your selection. So you chose the Trickster. This one came out in the shadow aspects, manipulating others through duplicity. Okay, so there's something about you that is duplicitous, perhaps. I don't know what this. Let's get more. But I think that what they could be realizing is that something about you is concealed. I'm hearing running through with the black mans can't see me. Soldier Boy, tell him I'm on the beat. I'm undefeated. Did y'all see the release yet? No, don't think so. Still with me west side till I go. So, anyways, something where you running with the black mask, they can't see you, friend. Okay. They don't know what you're hiding, okay, but they're realizing that it's something that you're hiding. They know that you have there's two sides to your coin, and they can't figure you out, okay? They know that this manifestation required an integration of your shadow attachments or your shadow aspects. I don't think that you have attachments. I don't think that you're an addict whatsoever, okay? And so you're like oh, here's a card. It's still here from the reading that we did that a couple of juicy morning teas back. But I definitely just feel like this could be, this isn't one of the cards that we pulled, but it's definitely something that I want to address, because I definitely feel like through this like this trickster energy, it could be like, it's the way that you sub. It's something about your subliminals that are just like a sub above. People see you as superior, friend. And it's hard being in this position because you might not have a lot of friends, or you might feel isolated a lot. But you just don't have these addictions. And if you do have addictions, I just don't think that they're the same kind of conventional unconscious gripping that most people have in society. A neuropsychological disorder characterized by a persistent and intense urge by or to use a substance or engage in a behavior that produces a natural reward despite substantial harm and other negative consequences. I don't know, your manifestation is very powerful, and this is what people are realizing. I don't know, people saw your hair grow long, okay, and they see your hair stretched. A lot of your natural hair, and I think like that they just don't understand how you've gotten these results, and it's so perplexing and burdening, and like especially if you're here from pile one, these people, especially if these are people that violated you, they're realizing like they know they can't see what you have done in the shadows to materialize this amount of success that you're having right now. Some kind of success that you are, okay? And they feel like, you know, they could be saying that it's negative, but some of you guys, you're really a benevolent cause. They just feel like you have the control in the matter, and that you're very manipulative in this control that you have. You're like a joystick gamer or something like that. Maybe you are hackers, coders. Some of you guys are good with technology, but I just think that you might be esoteric students, or you study something esoteric, and people just don't have the same depth of perception and knowledge that you have. And so if people try to send you subliminals, friend, they just not working. Okay, they think that they send in some type of subliminal to try to embed into your psyche or something like that. But can't nobody sub the way that you sub, pal, too, because when you sub them, you hit their addiction, is what I'm hearing. You literally, I don't know, something where your subliminals are you're duplicitous, and like something where you could be, like I think that especially if you're doing some type of like business, you're running some type of business, or you're working in public relations, maybe you do work with the press in some type of way, and they know that when they see your ad or when they see something that you've produced, it's very successful, but they know that it also manipulates, because it's also a subliminal to a shadow attachment that you have, okay? And that's how you materialize your success, by subbing your shadow attachments. Your shadow attachments help you integrate what you need to acknowledge so that you can materialize success. And that's so powerful how it works. And it'd be so inevitable that they're going to lose this battle, because you don't have addictions. So if you have people or things that are attached to you for shadow reasons, it's like because your subliminals are a sub above, these people, you literally inspire a behavior that they cannot control with your subliminals. Maybe you've embedded, something manipulative into people's psyche, where you can literally you literally have mind control, friend. Like you know how to rile them up. You be poking, and you be poking at the birds, and they be flapping their feathers, they just be their feathers getting all riled up. And people are realizing that your successful presentations are also there's also something shadowy, embedded in like this successful display that you have. Like a lot of people, it reaches its intended results, it gets its intended target, but people who in that it reaches the people who it serves, but it also like attacks the shadow attachment. Like that's crazy. The way that you can reflect like in your subliminal or something else that you're doing that is so concealed or so perfectly refined is what I'm hearing. Something is refined, okay? And you have literally created a neuropsychological disorder with some people, and people are like, they know that what you're producing, it gets your intended result. It's very successful to you. Some of you are successful for you. Maybe it gets you follows. Maybe it gets you making money. It pleasures you in a way, right? But it also, there's a shadow component towards it, where that they know that that's a part of it materializing success. Like, you might present your ideal image of yourself, but they know that there were shadow aspects that were involved in the materialization, and they say that that's duplicitous, especially like if this is about your money. I'm also hearing about something about your crystals, your crystals or something like that. They know that, like, something else that you do in a persistent and intense way, it's engaging behavior. And I think that that's the intended result, but it's also like they also can see the complex technique where the shadow was integrated. LOL. Damn, I'm scared of you, pal, too. Shit, I'm scared of you. LOL. Yeah, your fulfillment of your wishes. Like I said, you're like, people are seeing that your wish fulfillment, it took shadow. It took some type of, it took, you learning about a shadow attachment to wealth, and they see that you actually getting this wealth and affluence is your dream come true, but they could feel that it's duplicitous in a way, okay? Or they could feel that what they're realizing is that they don't know the shadow, the shadows of it. They don't know the refined technique that you use in your subliminal to create a neurological disorder in others, or to create or to inspire a behavior that is your intended result. Like something that you're doing, you're like the game controller. Like you're so smart, or you're like the one in power and control. Like you literally control these bitches' mood. You control their behavior, and they know that it's some type of subliminal that you're sending that is not fully expressed in a negative way, but it presents your ideal image. Does that make sense? Like your subliminal presents the ideal image, but it also reaches the intended target of like creating the disorder, or impacting, hurting someone psychologically is what I'm hearing. Something where they're realizing that you're doing something to hurt someone psychologically, even if but it still materializes your success. Okay. Something about stories and symbols, group 2. Oh yeah, that's crazy that intoxication and stupor came out, because what did I say about addictions? So people could be realizing that you have, you could be talking about an addiction, but I also think that people are what people are realizing are is bringing people out of an unconscious gripping. It's bringing people out of intoxication or a stupor. Like these could even be strangers. They're like something that you do, where people, you bring them, you give them a reality check, or you do something manipulative towards them. Like, I don't know if manipulation is the right word, but something where they realize that you actually have the power in the dynamic, and you manipulate the dynamic such that it makes them realize that they're in an intoxication and stupor also. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it's something where people, these realizations, people realize that you are in a wish fulfillment. Like, I don't know. I recently reposted the mystery topic from last year for Easter, and I had rewatched Pile 4, and we asked a mystery question. The mystery topic was, why do people stare at you? And I've been giving this a lot of thought. This could be like a situation where, people, they stare at you and they watch you because they're looking and searching for joy and fulfillment that you could be having in your life. And this is what a lot of ancestral epigenetic traumatic people will do. Like sometimes, I don't even want to go around black people because I know that they're going to be searching for my fulfillment and my joy to see how they can knock it off or dupe it off, or so they can, they see me addressing my, see me on the pursuit of happiness, through the Declaration of Independence, and they want to see how they can address their personal freedoms, and in the same way. Find your own expression, find your own life, find your own joy. It's something where in this situation, these people are literally intoxicated in a stupor. Like maybe they just sit there and stare at you, and you're just sitting there in wish fulfillment energy, and they see like emotional satisfaction on your facial expressions, or they can tell you have emotional satisfaction by the way that you style yourself. And these people are literally just like, they become obsessed with who you are and your home and what it could be like. And these could be people that keep projecting their home onto you. Like especially if these are strangers out in a transit or out in a public, there are always people sitting around searching for other people's joy. Like, stop looking at someone else's face for 45 minutes because you're trying to decide how they could be experiencing joy, like how they could be experiencing pleasure. Like if you see people like intoxicated with your belongings, like they just sit there and stare at your shoes, or stare at your jewelry, or stare at your extremities, like your hands and your feet, and like staring at your mouth to see if it's a monkey mouth like theirs. Like, stop trying to stare at people's joy and fulfillment to see how closely they relate to, you know, societal standards of success. And it's something that you do, they can just tell that you're like, you do something. It's like maybe you're like nice nasty with this trickster energy, like something where you're like nice nasty, but I feel like a lot of this has to do with an advertisement, a commercial business, a organization that you're running, you know, because I just feel like there's so many people coming around to see how they can, you know, to see where the profit is, or to see where the money and the wealth and the affluence is, to see where the joy is, and they keep trying to like knock it off or dupe it off, or like back up. Like, why are you always trying to search for somebody else's joy? Search for your own joy. You're trying to fight for, you know, attention, or you're trying to fight for, you know, trying to fight for joy. Like, fight for a better life and stop focusing on someone else's joy in their life. Like, this is so weird because it definitely feels like these people could be like, this realization makes them realize an addiction that they had. Like, it makes them, like, especially if you catch people staring, it helps them realize that they were unconsciously gripping to your shoes, they were unconsciously gripping to your handbag and your facial expression. Like, why are you staring at my mouth and my shoulder? Like, why are you, like, I'm sitting down and you trying to see how I place my hand on my bag? Like, that's just, like, you just keep trying to look for, like, joy and happiness, and what, you know, like, you're trying to look for something. Like, you stop trying to, you know, look for yourself. Okay, we have develop your dreams. What is it? Develop your destiny. Yeah, develop your destiny, and then saving grace. Okay. I don't know, I think that what happens is, like, you guys are definitely in touch with angelic communication. So in the 3D, your behavior is, I think that you're very, like, you're very burdened by the everyday person, because they're literally in an intoxication and stupor. Like, you can literally just see them, you know, tethered to your, like, belongings in your face, and it's something that you do that may be polite or nice nasty that breaks them free from an intoxication and stupor. And this is what they realize, like, some of them, they can realize that there's a shadow that you acknowledge within them that helped you have the control in this dynamic to, like, break them free from their addictive intoxication and stupor that they were displaying. Okay, honestly, these people feel like you are their saving grace. Like, truthfully, if these are like, especially strangers, where you're just like, you do something to, like, give them a wake-up call. Like, stop staring at someone's possessions. Like, what? Like, stop. Like, that's weird that you're just like, that's a part of that person's expression, their joy, who they are as an individual, and you just, like, being there staring at it, and you just don't have a relation to them is weird. Like that means that you're just, like, obsessed with trying to know me, but you actually don't have the privilege of knowing me. They feel like you actually break them free and give them a reality check that they really need. Like, something where you even help them realize that they're not even smart enough to be talking to you, that you would never talk to them. Like, some of these people, and that is a reality check that they need, because some of them, they project their home, they project their experiences, and you're like, I'm not like you. Okay, you're just attached to my belongings because you're trying to you're projecting your life in this dynamic or in this environment, but it's very clear that it's not your life, right? So something that you do and with a behavior that's nice, nasty, or a behavior that's both shadow and light, help breaks them free, and they feel like you developed them in a way. They feel like you saved their life in a way because they were unconscious. And you're like, you are unconscious. Let me help you with that. Okay. I also feel like people are realizing in this situation something that has helped you develop your destiny, something that have improved your ads or your marketing or your advertising, and this is your wish fulfillment. Okay. This is everything that you wanted is what I'm hearing. LOL. But I think that a lot of this realization is that people could be watching you on social media. They could be watching your destiny unfold on a social media account, and they just don't know how you're doing this, and you're not sharing with them how to do it because they all really feel like ops, trying to sit around, trying to sit next to affluence, trying to sit next to joy and expression. Find your own affluence, find your own joy and expression. I'm not coming around trying to sit up like no twin. I ain't no twin, bitch. I'm not trying to sit up with the same outfit on with you. I honestly don't even want to talk to you. So why are you here? Why are you talking like me? Why are you acting like me? Why are you dressing up as me? Why are you mimicking my actions in my life? I don't know you, and I don't want to know you. That just means that you're an addict, and that you're an intoxicated and in a stupor about me, and I don't know you. And the more that you get, improve, like the more that you develop your destiny, the more that the more that these people realize that there are aspects that you have concealed. And it's like some of these people, they try to act like family, or they try to act like they know you. And you're like, if you knew me, if you were my family, then you wouldn't be over there. And I wouldn't be over here. Okay? If you were my family, then you would know how we operate over here. It's like the more that it's like they know it, like big differences or big distances are put between you and these people. And this is what people are realizing as well, that you keep putting more and more distance between you and these people, the more you develop your destiny. And it makes them, it helps them realize more and more and more that you have a shadow aspect that's integrated more than them. Does that make sense? More than them, or you have a superior, and you are superior. You evolve at a superior rate, and also that it shows that you're not like your total opposites from these other people, especially when they can't develop their destiny or improve and it shows that like they don't have an awareness of the shadow the way that you have. Okay, I'm also getting that people are realizing something recently, a miracle that has happened that has allowed you to develop your destiny. Okay, but they feel like your destiny involves, like, they feel like you're not going to be totally transparent, and you won't, because you're a siren. Okay, so we have murky thoughts, and then we have the Tower. Yeah, I think that this is like, whatever they're realizing about you is very shocking. Okay, like something that you do that's shocking, that shockingly brings them out of a delusional unconscious gripping that they have. Like, it's like, what? Why are you? It's like they see you. Like, it feels like they see you and they're shocked to see you, and they're sitting there just like in a stupor, like, I'm projecting my home, but that's not my home. That's a siren. Yeah, big siren, bitch. Like, and then they immediately, it's like you save their life with this realization. Like, you bring them, a truth that fundamentally shifts their reality. Okay, fundamentally shifts their understanding of reality, especially if they're like disconnected from reality. They're totally like in a stupor. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we have depression and anxiety. Okay, that also could make you a siren as well. Like, they don't know that they see your big butt, right? And they become obsessed. Like, they know that, with your body looking like that, they know that it means that you're having a wish fulfillment. Like, they know that girls with nice bodies are having nice lives. Okay, it's just is what it is. Pretty hurts, right? Same old siren, big siren energy. crown chakra energy, and then karmic loop. Yeah, these people are, yeah, they look at you and they see a privilege. Yeah, and so they keep looping around and saying that you have a privilege of a big butt, or you have privilege of beauty, when you're really like this traumatized, disadvantaged, anxious, and depressed person. And they keep just like projecting onto your big butt and you're pretty, and it's something that you do. You like, because you know you have this body type, and you know that people will like, you know what projection of shadows that they're going to display. So it'd be like, you know, it'd be awkward. Okay, so that's why you don't tell people anything, is what I'm hearing, because it's almost like it's like a convention, like the light aspect of the trickster, which is something that you're fully aware of. You're like, I know that people will have this conventional, stuffy, and predictable behavior about my beauty or my big booty, and this is like super conventional. And so something that you do taps into their psyche and could even like produce a neurological disorder, with people who are recurring, but I'm hearing strangers. It's something that you do to show them that you're aware that they're like projecting onto your beauty and your big butt, like, and it might scare you and it might scare them too, but it actually saves their life and help in that it transcends a convention. It transcends the stuffy behavior, the predictable behavior, when they realize that you're not this, you know, pretty big booty person that's just getting by on privilege, that you're actually like depressed, anxious, you know, that you have disadvantages and stuff like that. That changes their understanding of reality. Like, they're sitting there stuck in a stupor about your body and your beauty, and you're like, stop, you fucking idiot. Like, can't you see that I'm wounded? Can't you see I'm depressed and anxious? Like, what are you even talking about, you fucking clown? Like, it's like they get so obsessed with how your wishes could be getting fulfilled, and you're like, I don't know you and I don't want to. You're just someone who sees my life or sees my body and does something conventional and predictable. Like, and this realization that they could have is where they're like, you break them free from this, you know, intoxicated with this negative pattern about your body. This karmic loop is literally an intoxication with a negative pattern, a negative thought pattern. It's literally it's like an intoxication of a negative thought pattern around your beauty and body, and they'll just like disregard, especially if you guys are here for Power One, they'll just like disregard the wound, they'll disregard the violation, they'll disregard the beauty, they'll disregard the, you know, the violation. Oh, but you're pretty and your big butt. What? Like, these people are so unjust and unfair, but they see that after all this like pretty punishment, that you've been, you know, your destiny and your legacy has been saved. And this is making them so mad as well, because they see that you have been experiencing fairness with someone else or somewhere else. Okay, so that's so strange and weird, like, that people are, you know, have these addictions to big booties and pretty privilege. Like, oh my god, like, I saw this interracial couple in a car, and when I was like walking down the street, right, I had this fitted jumpsuit on, and I rarely ever wear fitted clothes anymore, but on this day I was about to go to the gym. Okay, so I had this fitted jumpsuit on, and then I turned, you know, like I said, that video, y'all need to watch that, pick a car, why do people stare at you, and I literally had a reflex and made eye contact with the interracial woman, and just saw how she was attacked, like in the car with her, you know, with her like with her man looking at my big booty. It was like weird, like, and the way she jumped and flinched, her man noticed it, and her man made eye contact with me, and I made eye contact with him and made eye contact with her, and it was just awkward, like that she was in this unconscious gripping and stupor, projecting her, you know, differences onto my body type. Was strange, you know what I'm saying? That's what I see, friends. The Six of Pentacles reversed, strength, and then the Seven of Cups. Okay, you know, these people are definitely not balanced people. So these people who are realizing things about you, they're totally, with the Seven of Cups and the Six of Pentacles, they're totally disconnected from reality. because they project a lot onto your beauty. This is literally all about your beauty, friends. And when they see whatever you do that's helping them realize, it breaks them free from this illusion. Is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing an illusion. And but I also feel like a lot of these people have been around since you were a child, okay? And I think that what people are realizing now is that you have an ally in this situation, and this is bringing people, you know, they're realizing that you have an ally in this situation, a saving grace, someone that is helping you develop your destiny, and to bring this karmic loop. I'm hearing something that was a scam is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that this could have been a scam. This could have been a dodgy business deal where you went into a place, and these people were addicts. I'm hearing they were addicts, or they were trying to hurt you with the Six of Pentacles. And they were trying to, I'm hearing they're trying to create illusions, or they're trying to do something. You know, these people are duplicitous. Okay, they're duplicitous because they saw you as a siren, your beauty and your big butt, but that made them hate you, okay? And so they see that, you know, after investing poorly with them, you were saved. You had a miracle somewhere else is what I'm hearing, okay? And that was really bad. I mean, these people are truly, I'm hearing stay strong, friend, because these people were truly, you know, they're obsessed with you, okay? Because of your light skin, especially if you have a light skin with a big butt, that really makes you a siren. Because a lot of interracial children, or gringas, even Latin women, if you have a nice Coke bottle body type, people will see you as, you know, you're a siren because you are a woman of color still. But being a woman of color and coming around with a body and pretty is like a lot of people's worst nightmare, okay? Because it dismantles their supremacy ideologies and what they previously thought was capable. Like a lot of interracial children, or like light skin, you know, they might not have Coke bottles, right? But seeing, you know, you having the privilege of light skin, and the privilege, you know, you having a big booty on top of like light skin is like a dark skin, like natural girl's worst nightmare, okay? Because that means that you have the body and the privilege, okay? And so I'm actually, you know, they might thinking that it's a privilege, but it's actually like really, you know, you've been hurt a lot because of this, okay? So while you know, don't think that a light-skinned girl is having, you know, the best experiences. Honestly, interracial children are going through hell, you know, a lot, you know, because, and you don't, even if you're not interracial, you could just be lighter, or lighter in your culture, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they'll just put that next to a privilege and start making all kinds of excuses as to why it's okay to hurt you. And also just like your beauty as well, especially if you're interracial children, you have, you know, you have the shadow and the light, you know what I'm saying? You have the privilege, you have been next to privilege, you have been next to the dominant culture, and that makes you really connected to your subconscious, and that's a privilege, friend, okay? Because you'll meet a lot of people, especially like, you know, these dark-skinned girls who are desperate to be light, you know, it triggers their home life and how they feel like they don't have a nice home, and they're like, oh, only light-skinned big booties can have a nice home, and you're like, I'm a siren, I'm disadvantaged, traumatized, you know, something like that. And they're like, all they see is your pretty and your booty, and they start going crazy, okay? So, you know, people are very defensive about your beauty, friend, okay? And you're just sitting there with depression and anxiety, lol. But I think that you've learned so many lessons around this, and you've been hurt so much, like, y'all thinking that it's, you know, you thinking that a light-skinned girl is having a great life. You probably are, friend, lol. But I think that you've also been hurt really bad because of this. I'm not going to say your life isn't great, because it's not because of, you know, that your lighter skin is more beautiful. It's literally just because you have had, you know, the dominant culture is more affluent, more culturally literate, more literate in general, okay? Better communication, better circumstances, better opportunities, okay? Especially if you're interracial, you've just been put in better circumstances most of the time, okay? And it's not your fault. But I also think, your life could be, you could have a great life, or your life could be better, right? But I think that what ends up happening is that there are actually a lot of traumatizing experiences because of this. Maybe you haven't, maybe you could be interracial and not be next to privilege, or not be so totally involved in the dominant culture, and be really disadvantaged. And then, you keep getting all these, you keep, experiencing trauma because there's a dark-skinned girl, seething with an unconscious stupor in the back of the club because they're not making no money, right? So, I also think that some of these people they're delusional, and they'll something that you do, especially if these are strangers, they'll think that you're staring at them, or they'll think that you're trying to engage with them, or that you're looking at their body or something like that. You're like, I'm not looking at you. Why would I be looking at your body? Look at mine. Like something where they're just like, friend, something where they're just like, they have this, they'll think that you're collaborating with them. They'll think that you're learning with them. Like Pink Pole Studio thought I was learning with them. They thought I was collaborating with them, but this was like totally delusional. I'm not working with you. I've been with the dominant culture, okay? You're like, I'm not learning. I'm not talking to you. I don't relate to you. And some of y'all, like I said, as a siren, you are just not relating to some of these people, especially these addicts. You just don't have the same kind of experiences, or they just are not smart enough, not spiritual enough, not deep and tenacious enough. It's not even about how they look. It's literally because they're not deep and tenacious, and they're not aware enough of their, they're not aware enough. And so they come around and they think that they're they keep projecting their home, or they think they project a beef or something and think that it's something going on, and you're just like, I don't know you. And then something that you do, that helps them recognize the shadow aspect that they're reflecting, it's like a stark realization that helps them realize that you're not working with them. And that they were just a neuropsychological disorder characterized by a persistent and intense urge to engage with you. And you're like, I'm here with my pretty big booty. I don't have anything to look for here. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Group 2, let me know how that resonates, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hi, group 3. Last but not least, you are the martyr, okay? Learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. Apologize for my short breath and rambling because I'm literally fighting for air because I have congestion left over. But anyway, group 3. People are realizing something that you've transcended. They're watching you give a lot of they're watching you tell a lot of stories of triumph and how you've conquered and gotten victory in a situation, and they see that this was you truly transcending something, truly transcending the nature of the cause. And this has been very, very powerful. They see that you have risen above your own internal struggle and grief about a matter, and this has turned into an entire cause, charity, philanthropic effort. Something that they're realizing is the monumental impact of what you are and what you represent, and how great this cause is, and the magnitude of your importance. Okay, some of you guys are winning high recognition, high rewards and recognition, high honors, and it's because something that you've transcended, a notoriety perhaps, or the surviving of something that was intended to bring you death and destruction, is what I'm hearing. Okay, group 3, tell me about what people are realizing. Okay, these realizations are making them very defensive. They're making them very, very defensive, and it's because they keep trying to make excuses for a privilege or pretty that you have. Okay, and this is a whole jelly team full of people who are obsessed with you. Okay, and so this is why it has turned into a cause, because there are literally so many people on the jelly team, and this could be racketeering, but this could literally be something where it could have, it was a bullying, a ganging up, something that was really, really bad, where people really tried to stop you from standing your ground, friend. These people tried to knock you off your feet or something like that, and these people are realizing that you've had to defend your honor, or you've had to defend your potential, you've had to defend your position, and that this was something that you needed to transcend to come out stronger, because I'm hearing Pluto energy. Like, this feels like a situation where there was waste, there was virus, there was coercion, there was death and destruction, friend. Okay, or that's what they wanted, but that didn't happen, is what I'm hearing. And they see that it took you believing in a cause for you to get to this point. Okay, group 3, tell me what are people realizing about you. Okay, tell me what people are realizing about you. That's intense. Yeah, toughen your spirit. You got to keep going, because this is, people realize that you have to adjust, you have to adapt, you have to stand up to a challenge, you have to persevere, you have to stand your ground, keep laying down the law, is what I'm hearing. Keep laying it down with law enforcement, because they keep trying to show an emotional weakness to people who have violated you because of your privilege. Okay, or because of some difference that they felt it was okay to violate. Okay, I'm hearing that when they see you being successful, or they see your cause being successful, they keep throwing, they fight a lot. Okay, they want to fight a lot, but we fight too, bitch. You feeling froggy? Leap, ho. I most definitely will give you this work if that's what you looking for, because this ain't what you want. Okay, old dog, yeah, y'all, this is old as fuck. And then we have euphoria and insight. Okay, I think that these triggerings that you're having now, you're okay. I think that you, especially, like, it feels a little bit more evolved in PAL 2, where in PAL 2 they keep, they're addicts, and so they're in a lot of intoxications and stupors, and that's what leads to deep deep insecurities, emotional weakness, petty gossip, projecting their insecurity. But this PAL, it feels like you guys need to stand up to getting triggered, okay, because you've already transcended this cause so much. And that this triggering is their ex past baggage, or your ex past baggage, or these murky thoughts related to the past baggage. And this is a rite of passage, and a moving on, and a transitioning into euphoria and insight. Okay, so that's pretty powerful, group 3. I think that what you're working through, what people are realizing, is something that's triggering them from their past. It's not really a reflection of the now and what, or your past. It's not a reflection of the current state of existence. These are all, you are getting a lot of insight around how to discharge these sensations of fear and triggers related to the past, because a lot of you guys, because you've transcended this cause, there are a lot of triggers about, from the sacrifices that you've made for this cause. So people could literally, just be realizing that you have, that because you've transcended so much, that there's likelihood of regression, or there's likelihood that you will experience sensations of fear around how you've conquered this thing. Okay, you've been very strong, but stand your ground and keep laying down the law, and keep asserting and have an assertive engagement with the outer world. Okay, because a lot of what I feel like you're dealing with people are realizing that this is just your past baggage, okay? That this is just before you conquered, triggered by, all that you've had to conquer, okay? So, but you've gotten a lot of insights around it, and you help these people as well. Yeah, this has been a journey with the ship. And then we have expectations. How did I know that card was going to come out in one pile? I think that what could be triggering is that, like, people could be realizing that you get triggered because you previously had some expectations, but you've since released like toxic expectations and projections. But there were sacrifices that you've taken to release those. It's taken sacrifice to get aware. It's taken sacrifice to get enlightened about things. It's taken sacrifice to win at life, to do well for yourself, to get rewards and recognition. It's taken a lot of sacrifice for your cause to be successful. And so they know, they're realizing some, different triggers that you could be experiencing, around this cause that they see as very successful. And this is making people hold space for what you've transcended. Like, they could not even imagine. People could really not walk a mile in your shoes, and you're just like very strong, and you've had a toughness, a skill, and a stoicism in conquering your, and self-sacrificing of your own ego to be triumphant and successful with your cause. And it took a power outside of you. You had to rise and transcend your personal sufferings to do this. And so people they respect you a lot, okay? They see that you've cleared a lot of toxic expectations, and that a lot of you guys are ready for marriage, now. But I think that you could be getting a lot of, through this process, you revealed a lot of, you revealed a lot of secrets, or you revealed a lot of things that were unhidden. And it led to you, people could be realizing that it led to you, writing about these experiences. Your writing gives people a lot of insight, and share with people, other toxic expectations that they could be having that lead to their suffering. It's the expectation that creates the suffering. It's your misperception that creates the suffering. It's you not having discernment that created the suffering. And so I think that's, people see, people are realizing this journey that you've gone on to release toxic expectations and projections, and possibly be getting ready for marriage, okay? They're seeing that you and your partner that you're marrying get triggered a lot from the past, okay? That's what they're gossiping about. We have sulky, moody, and jealous. We have Jupiter energy, okay? Yeah, they see that they feel like you're very blessed to be getting married. We have spiteful, vengeful, liar, and then we have Neo Ash, letter N, okay, so I think that, people see that you could be getting defensive about a cause that you were attached to in the past, where somebody was a spiteful, vengeful liar. I'm hearing that someone they were very spiteful towards you, okay? And they see that you went on this long journey of releasing the expectation, and maybe you expected them to be truthful, you expected them to be good, or maybe you didn't, and you were like, look, let me show you the suffering that ensued from this toxic expectation. This person was not a good person. This person was sulky, moody, and jealous, LOL. People could be realizing that this situation has evolved, and that you are now getting ready for marriage, and that people, even after going through this, this, like, even after transcending something so tough, people are still like sulky, moody, and jealous, like especially now that they could be seeing you getting married. Okay. Okay, so you have the 9 of Swords here. They're very anxious about your marriage is what I'm hearing. Okay, yeah, because they know that that's a new opportunity for you to transcend this cause. Okay, for you to recover. And they're very heartbroken because they see that you're getting married when they were just like, especially if this was another romantic partner, they did something out of spite and now they see that you moved on to someone else. LOL. Or they know that this marriage or this opportunity is going to persecute them for something. Okay, that's what I'm seeing, group 3, about what people are realizing about you. Let me know how that resonates, and I'll see you guys in the next one.